Hello, guys. Welcome back to The Voice. It matters, guys. I know this is kind of late. So late. Okay. Hope everyone has had a wonderful Monday. Hello, Minister Terry. Thank you for having everything laid out for me. I appreciate you. Hope your day has been going great. Today is Monday. So I have a special guest. Um, I wish I knew how to do this. Brother Mike is coming on. Brother Mike X. Um, so guys, I'm just waiting on him. Like it started at 9 o'clock, you know. And we're gonna speak on. I'm gonna let him speak on some things, that's important. So guys, get ready if you can. I will share this time. I will say this. This is something that I don't normally do, and you can share this stream out, because he's very powerful. He's going to speak on some things, hey, I highly have much respect for him. Okay. He put a lot out in the community of teaching, of awareness, he is an author, a teacher, an activist. He have a lot on his belt. Okay. An awesome king, that care about our people, okay, about us. You understand what I'm saying? So guys, please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, my main concern is basically about you know, um, learning some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Things that we don't talk about, things that get thrown up under the rug. You have most that don't care, or you have people that that do care, and some this I don't know. So unapologetically, we definitely going to speak tonight. Okay. Now I'm on edge because I have a family member that passed away, and her services is today. Okay, this evening actually. I think it was like at 6:30 or something like that. So then I had some other stuff going on. So I'm not really too much focused right now. I'm trying to be, but that's life. Life be lifing over here at the Voice that Matters. Life be lifing. Okay, but shout out to I'm gonna get a shout out to Slim Shelly. Okay, let me give her a shout out. Okay, she shared a post, and sometimes I may speak on posts, sometimes I may not. But I like more speaking than versus on text, because sometimes the text may not come out properly, the way I needed to come out, or somebody may misunderstand where I'm coming from. Okay, now the post she shared, drama does not just walk into your life. Either you create it, you invite it, or you associate with it. That's very powerful. You don't have to be, you know, again, drama don't just walk into your life. At the end of the day, it does. It comes through. A lot of times we could get caught off, like me. I get caught off. Hey, Miss Keys, how are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome on in. I get caught off guard. I was so happy that she had posted that. Sometimes you can know, and I'm speaking in general, because this came right on time because I just had an experience. Off the book experience, family stuff or whatever, because like I said, life be life, honey. Life be life, you know, and and like I said, I don't do the drama, but sometimes drama can come your way. Drama can come your way, but the trick with that is when you notice somebody may have drama traits, and drama can be drama, that's the key word right there. That's the part where associate. You get what I'm saying? Because it's saying either you create it, invite it, or you associate with it. So that being said, you know somebody, sometimes we could be naive. We have to learn and not only that, pray, for discernment to show us, we could be naive to some stuff and be like, wow, I didn't know that person was like that. You get what I'm saying? And we learn new stuff. That's me. And then I try to give people chances. Hello, how are you, Buck Fowles? So I pretty much came across this Slim Shelley. Shout out to Slim Shelley, because that definitely was she said this quote, speak facts. If you agree, she said, hell yes. Excuse my language, but basically that's what it is. It's true, it's true. So what we have to do, we are the ones that have to take control of, how to react and what we're going to do, to keep our inner peace. So I spoke on it, and I may pretty much probably share it, but I was busy, so I just did that, and it was like I'm doing too much right, and I erased it. I was doing too much right, and I ain't had time because I got this live to do, But shout out to Slim Shelley. I will be sharing this, okay? Because this is definitely true. It's powerful. It's true. Dealing with your environment. The environment. I can't even tell you because I was speaking. I told her it was a powerful post. To be honest, it's true. Sometimes drama can just come your way. I'm a witness. But when you wake up to realize you're dealing with toxic people, you got to keep moving and grooving, protect your inner peace, surroundings, and environment. You know what I'm saying? But that's definitely a good topic. That was great. And that's something to speak on. It's important, you know. So guys, it's almost 9. And my guest, he will be coming on. And again, I'm hot. Thank you all that's here. Thank you all that will be coming through. Let me see. Let's see if I could type the link in. So this right here, I highlighted him. So he just dropped his second book, guys. I shared one of his books. I want to speak on him. Like I showed it before in one of my lives. But he just dropped another book, guys. Okay. Barnes and Nobles, if you want to find it and read it. I'm just looking forward to reading it. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Okay. Come on. Okay. All right. Mm. A Black Awakening. This is it right here. This is his new book here that I'm going to purchase. This and listen, this is powerful alone. So is it, A Black Awakening, formerly known as the X Chronicles. So this is his second book that he dropped. Okay, guys. So let me go ahead and pin that link. So when he come, he could just link on in. Okay. It's 9:00. Okay. So, okay. It's 9:00. Okay. Let me pin this up here for him. So, okay. It's 9:00. Okay. Okay. So hopefully, he'll be here in a few minutes. And this is speaking about, guys, again, great vibes only. This is all great vibes. Okay. he was driving, so I hope he'll be able to won't have no problem. Cause he used to doing the lives, like doing it like we usually do the podcast on Facebook. This will actually be our first time doing it here on the YouTube. Okay. All right. Um, so hopefully he won't have no problem coming on in. How's everybody day been going? I hope everybody has been having a wonderful Monday. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Hey Latanya. Thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. So let me text him to make sure he know. Let him know he see it. Make sure he see me on. Brother Mike. Brother Mike. Okay, so I just text him. Yeah. So, sometimes, you can speak on some things and it could be true. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, yeah, he came on through. There you go. Hey, hello.
Hey, peace, peace. I don't know how strong my signal is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Guys, can y'all hear him good? Okay, so is anyone here that can drop his link where y'all can connect with him, please? And y'all type in V.O.M to drop y'all links as well. Okay? Where y'all links can drop. And drop Brother Mike X link where y'all can connect with him, please. Please do that. Thank you. Yeah. So he's clear. Yes, thank you. Okay. So he's on the Mike brother Mike, do you have another device on you to type in VOM? No, I don't
Do
think
I
he can
have
type in
what? Say
VOM.
that again?
No, I don't think he's on his phone. He's on his
Yeah.
phone. So can somebody drop his link? So how was your day? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Voice It Matters.
Uh,
Welcome.
my day was wow. My day was pretty good. You know what I mean? Yeah. I work with young people, as you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some of them, in a juvenile justice setting, some of them have gotten themselves into trouble, and they're away from home in places that are designed to keep them from being in a prison environment, with more seasoned, um, people who can take advantage of them and maybe do them harm. So, this place is geared towards giving them an opportunity to, change the way they move, change the way they think, and hopefully re-enter into society in a stronger, more stable, position, and mindset, So it has its ups and downs, but I
Mm-hmm.
chose to work in this field a long time ago, and I love working with young people. So it's it was a
Mm-hmm.
good day, you know.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Uh, hmm
Yeah, so that was
uh,
he already. gave him a little introduction about himself. Anything else you want to share with them? I had your author activist, and the teacher, but I'm like, you have a lot under your belt, so I couldn't name everything. I couldn't I couldn't put
Yeah,
everything. I couldn't name everything.
yeah, I got you, sis. I
Yeah.
got you. What I would, say, I just, I've dedicated my whole adult life to being a strong black man, number one.
Mhm.
Um, and, striving to commit myself. I'm a lifelong learner. You know,
Mhm.
um, I'm just as interested in my mid 50s, as I was in my early 20s,
Mhm.
to, seeking knowledge, learning how to love myself as a black
Mhm.
man, learning how to share that love and share that consciousness, that awareness, um, with the young people coming up behind me, with my peers, um, and and also to be a credit, to what it means to be a black man, to use my
Mhm.
life in a way that that I hope would inspire and encourage other black men and other black people to see in ourselves what other races and ethnicities see and practice within themselves as individuals and as members of a collective, that allows them to create communities of their own, that they call Little Italy, or they call Chinatown, or they call Little Korea, or communities where their children can grow up safe
Mhm.
and secure, where their
Mhm.
elders can grow into elderhood and and enjoy being safe and protected and loved. I want to see that same thing done in our communities the way it used to be done before uh the move to integration in the late 50s and early 60s and going into the 70s, where you had all of this integration, where we stopped loving ourselves and we stopped practicing togetherness, the way we
Mhm.
used to practice it, to
Mhm.
where now it's normalized to where we see ourselves as, thugs and criminals and ratchet and ghetto. And
Mhm.
we've normalized that as if that's the only thing we have to offer to the world, but it wasn't always that way. We've only forgotten how great we are and how great we can be. And I strive to live my life in a type of way to be someone who stands in the gap, so to speak, as they say, to show the world and to show other, black people in particular, that we have more to offer to ourselves and more to offer to each other,
Mhm.
um, than, gossip and slander and backbiting.
Mhm.
So, that's who I am, you know. That's who I
Mhm.
am. I'm a student, like I said, I'm an activist. I grew up in New York City. I grew up in the projects. Um, I was awakened by hip hop, in the late 80s, early 90s. I'm an old school hip hop head. Um, I love the old, Rakim Allah and the KRS-Ones and the people who was teaching us to love ourselves and to love each other and to want our own
Mhm.
community, that we can own and we can control,
Mhm.
unlike we see it now. So
Mhm.
I don't wanna there's a lot more I can say about myself, but that's who I am in a nutshell. And I definitely I know Missy for I think it's about 12 years now. We met through social media, through a podcast. It was actually a blog talk radio show that I was involved in at the time called Pops Movement, blog talk radio. And Missy called in one night, and we've been friends ever since.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I admire her, and I admire her consistency and her
Mm-hmm.
drive. Um, and her podcasting, and the voice it matters. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
have a great deal of appreciation and respect and admiration for her. Um, and using her voice and making it matter. And she's an inspiration. She's an example. And there's been times when I wasn't as coming on as regular as I probably needed to. And I was watching her. And like I said, I was drawing a whole lot of inspiration from her. And I tried to make myself available to her as much as possible because I think that what she's doing is so powerful. And if more of us uh, across Black America, which is we all don't live in one place, but we
Right.
all suffer a lot of times from the same conditions and the same
Yes.
conditioning.
Yes.
And we need more brother Mike X's, who's going to take it
Mm-hmm.
upon themselves to live in a conscious way, to live in a righteous way, and to stand up and to strive to overflow our consciousness and inspiration and encouragement into the community. We need more missies who
Mm-hmm.
will take it upon themselves to strive to build up that encouragement in themselves, that love in themselves, and to overflow it into the community. We need more of that throughout Black America, wherever Black America is. And Black America could be in Atlanta, it could be in Chicago, it could be in New York, it could be
Right.
in California, it could be in all places in between. It's not needed for us all to try to come into one place. Stay
Right.
where you are, but wherever you are, make sure that you're getting busy, in your own life and making something out of your life before you have to give that life up. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say right quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So this is Brothers Mike. Thank you, Latanya. This is his link. Okay, guys. Brother Mike speaks on YouTube, but he is on multiple platforms. But this is his YouTube link. Okay. So I'll be encouraging him. Listen, he be on the Facebook and IG. He be putting it in. I said you got to put it in on the YouTube too, and be you know they need to hear it on the YouTube too. So so this was powerful. Basically, he was speaking on black about the men. There's so much to speak on in the cover. Um
Yeah.
And I just seen another one of his video. I was just so hyped, like, oh my God, yes, this is what I'm talking about. I seen this. So he be encouraging me too. I'm like, when I get pulled back, I gotta get it's like, it's like my bring my drive back up. Like, okay, get it together. Black fathers slash
Yeah.
men are necessary, and they definitely is. Brother Mike, can you share that with us?
Mm. Well, you know, in order for us to begin to take a greater control over our own lives as individuals, and then to play defining roles within our family structure, within our communities, our neighbors and our associates and our loved ones. We first have to begin to commit ourselves to, certain principles, certain focus, you know. Um, I commit myself to being, positive. I commit myself to being a source of inspiration and encouragement. Sure, my eyes are wide open, and sure, a lot of times I see a lot of negativity, you know. I'm not blind to it, I'm not deaf to it, but I know that, some I'm the type of person, I live my life by certain principles, certain standards. I know that energy flows where your attention goes.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
look at life as a negative thing. You could look at life as a, uh, you know, you can see a lot of ugly in this world if you're looking for that. But you also can see a lot of beauty in this world. You can see a lot of personal empowerment, in the way that you choose to think, in the way that you choose to speak, in the information or dialogue that you strive to incorporate into your own perspective. So I purposefully strive to be someone who speaks of, the qualities of love, self-love.
Mm-hmm.
They say
Mm-hmm.
hurt people,
Other
but
people.
I go
Yes.
by the mantra: if hurt people, then healed people can heal people.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I've been
Mm-hmm.
focusing on my own healing. I've been focusing on my own regeneration. I've been focusing on my own redemption for the last, I'll say, 20 years. When I first became conscious, of course, I was focused a lot more on all of the oppression, all of the degradation, all of the slander, all of the gossip that is pushed towards black people, to keep us down and to keep us divided and to keep us self-hating, to keep us, as those crabs in the barrel, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. You know what I mean? But at this point, I know that the greatest thing that I can offer to myself and then others is to strive to practice that healing, practice that self-love, practice that positive masculinity, so to speak, of black manhood. There's been a, and this is going back, hundreds of years, you know, there's been a plan to separate black men from, being, husbands, being fathers, being positive influences in our community. You know, um, a lot of times, and this is not to take anything away from our sisters, because, our women, because that's where the nurturing comes from. Our women are nurturers. They
Mm-hmm.
help to they help to give you that that warm embrace,
Mm-hmm.
after you've been out fighting. They welcome you home, they cook you a good meal, they inspire you to go back out and
Mm-hmm.
fight again. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But if you don't have that positive masculinity, a lot of times within the family, the nurturing alone is incomplete. You know what I mean? The nurturing can turn into
Hey,
um
Brandon. Okay.
the nurturing can turn into something that
Okay.
it doesn't direct you into this world. It doesn't direct you into aspiring to
Mm-hmm.
be, to go out there and to fight and to make
Mm-hmm.
positive claim over
Mm-hmm.
this world and over the environments that you live in. You
Mm-hmm.
can be nurtured into becoming docile.
Mm-hmm.
There's a such thing as over nurturing if there's no positive direction. I hope that I'm being clear. So
Yeah.
when I was coming up,
Welcome in,
I didn't
Brandon.
have a father.
Yes.
Yeah, go
Mm-hmm.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming up, I didn't have a father. Me and my two brothers, we didn't have anyone to provide us with a positive example of what black manhood should actually be. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, we grew up in the 70s and in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and and at a
Mm-hmm.
certain time, crack cocaine exploded. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there are, I mean, wow, there's just so many directions that I could go in. But I would just say that one of the things that we need the most, again, is we need a a positive, strong black manhood to become more present in the communities again, to become more present in the lives of, the families and the children that they may have had,
Mm-hmm.
and we need those examples. We need the OGs, so to speak, to teach the
Mm-hmm.
children how to love themselves again. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the children don't know how to love themselves because they've never seen anyone practicing love, you
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
because they've never seen anyone practicing love, they don't know how to practice love within their own lives, you
Right,
know.
exactly. And it goes back to what you were saying, learning how to love. You was learning how to love yourself again. And this is that's what's going on here now. People have to learn how to love themselves. And it went back to you saying about the speaking about normalizing we. We are the ones really normalizing things.
Well, yes, in a way we are. What we have to understand is, you know, it's been so powerful, what the enemy of black people have done, you know, and this was done all the way back hundreds of years ago, and it has continued on up to this day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We were brought here to be perpetual slaves. Perpetual means forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were brought here to be enslaved, and to and what was done, a campaign of pseudoscience, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
We had so-called scientists, saying that to prove, or they didn't want to they don't didn't want to be seen as oppressive or unjust. So a campaign was made to make us look like we were not human beings, that we were inferior, that we was only 3/5 of a human being, if that, and that, you know, can't, all types of college scientists and professors and scholars and
Mm-hmm.
and judges and lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
laws were put on the books.
Mm-hmm.
um a black man, you know, has no rights that a white man has to respect. Like all of these things, it became so ingrained
Mm-hmm.
in the way we were brought up generationally. It was passed
Mm-hmm.
on to where even after, so-called slavery ended, um, you know, laws were put on the books where we weren't allowed to learn how to read and write. Like we were kept in such an ignorant state that we began to accept, this disempowerment, you know, um, within ourselves. The champions that stood up to fight for us, a lot of times they stood up to fight for us at the risk of losing their lives or losing their freedom. You know what I mean? Um, and even against the odds, we have a history that's not known by most, but we do have a history where we were able, especially in the late 1800s and in the early 1900s, there were dozens of independent, black, sovereign, determining, empowered communities that we owned and controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us only know about Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Rosewood in Florida, but there were dozens, maybe, you know, tens of dozens, black communities where we owned the businesses, we
Mm-hmm.
owned the real estate, we
Mm-hmm.
had our own schools. You know, we were practicing the American dream, so to speak. And we were proving that black people were not inferior by nature. We were proving that black people are not criminals and thugs. You know, we had healthy marriages where black men and black women and people were congregating. Black people were coming together. Um, because we knew that we were all we had. We weren't depending upon the lesser of two evils at that
Yeah,
time.
it's true.
You know,
Yeah.
we wasn't
Hmm.
depending upon a white, godfather in the White House or whatever. We weren't depending upon someone saving us. We were
Hmm.
practicing our own salvation. But you have to begin to understand the mindset that created this country. The
Right.
mindset that created this country, you know, is built upon white supremacy, is built upon racism, is built upon white skin privilege,
Hmm.
and that in order for that white supremacy to be real, it had to create a black inferiority. It had to create a black dependency, you know, and that goal has been carried out, whether you want to start hundreds of years ago or you want to go all the way up to today. The black ghettos, the black projects, um, these things were created purposefully.
Hmm.
And now, to answer your question, sis,
Hmm.
and it hurts me when I hear it. It hurts me when I hear our people that don't know the history of what I've been talking about for the last 5 minutes, saying things like we're the only race that doesn't love each other. We're the only race that doesn't practice loving or supporting one another. We're the only race that gossips about one another. We're the only race that slanders one another and
Yeah.
backbites.
Pay each other
And
down. Yeah.
and,
Hmm.
and that's true.
Hmm.
That's true. But I ask the question, who taught us to hate and hate on ourselves? Who taught us to hate and hate on each other? This isn't natural. The way we treat one another today is not natural.
Hmm.
It was it was engineered, you know. It was the same hip hop when I mentioned earlier that hip hop saved my life and made me want to stand up and to be a positive black man in the community. Hip hop was taken and it was turned into first gangster rap, then trap music, then drill music now.
Hmm.
It was turned into something that was misogynistic, where an extreme hatred and division was created between black men and black women,
Hmm.
to where black men practiced a hate for black women. How can I sexually abuse you and use you and not
Yeah.
see
It's
you as
definitely in
my
the
partner?
music. Yeah. Hmm.
You know, this was done purposefully. You know, I'll challenge, when you get off, anybody who's listening to me, I challenge you, go on Google and punch in the secret meeting that changed hip hop, and tell me and let me know what you find. The secret meeting that changed hip hop.
Hmm.
It's kind of almost like the Willie Lynch letter. For
Hmm.
those who may be familiar with the Willie Lynch letter. The Willie Lynch letter gives a description of how to divide and conquer black people, you
Hmm.
know, and to set black people up to be divided so that they can be controlled,
Hmm.
to make the dark skin go against the light skin, to make the women
Hmm.
go against the men, to make the older go against the younger, to make the black
Hmm.
folk who work in the field go against the black folk who work in the plantations, the homes, the big house. you
Mm-hmm.
know. So that's the Willie Lynch letter. You can look that up too.
Mm-hmm.
This was manufactured, this division, this hatred, this self-hatred for self, and this hatred for other black people that puts us in the position of being crabs in a barrel where we hate seeing any one of us being successful. I'm not
Right.
going to help him to be successful. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
help her to be successful. This
Mm-hmm.
was purposefully created. It's not natural. God did not make us, if you believe in creator, did not put us here to be haters of ourselves as
That's right.
individuals. He didn't
That's
put
right.
us here to be haters of our own kind. You know, he didn't, so that we couldn't support them and we can't come together as a people. That was done purposefully. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So I just say, because I feel like I'm running my mouth a little bit right now.
No, you got
And
to
you know
speak
how
on it.
I am. We need black people to begin to show a healthy self-love, a healthy self-respect for themselves as men, you know, to begin to adopt the principles, the standards, the rituals of being a strong masculine man in
Mm-hmm.
today's times.
Right.
Someone who can support, you know, themselves as individuals, as fathers, as uncles. You know, a lot
Right.
of people don't have access to fathers,
Right.
but they need a positive male presence
Right.
in their
Mm-hmm.
lives.
Mm-hmm.
A positive male presence that will give them examples of what they should begin to grow towards and aspire to be. You know, I once read a book by a brother named Dr. Naeem Akbar. The book is titled Visions for Black Men. And it talked about how those who do not want to see black people rise, they took fathers out of the household purposefully so that young males, when you're born, you're just a male. You're just a baby. You're not even a boy yet. You don't have a particular way of looking at the world to where you can stand up and go for yourself yet. You have to be trained. You have to be shown how to become a boy,
Mm-hmm.
how to be patient, how to practice certain rituals, certain ways of going about things so that you can become a boy and then become a young adult in training, and then later on you can become a strong black man with
Right.
the ability to have your own household, to be a father, to be a husband. But that
Mm-hmm.
comes through you learning and seeing that example before you. If you don't, if you're not allowed to have that type of connection with a man, with a husband, with a father of your own, then you will probably miss the lessons that come from the maturation cycle of you being under the tutelage of an older brother, an older man. And what happens is you get stuck in what they called arrested development. You know, this person has aged physically, but they haven't aged psychologically. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't aged emotionally. So now, like when you have a baby, we all know about the terrible tools, when you're a toddler,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you cry and you scream and you kick and you stomp, to get your way. You don't know how to go for yourself yet. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to be patient. You don't know how to ask for what you
Mm-hmm.
need. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And, when you're a toddler, we know how black parents are. You better cut that mess out. It's easy to
Yeah.
subdue
Mm-hmm.
an
Yeah.
obnoxious or a wayward child, you know, that doesn't know how to handle themselves yet because they're too young. You know, you can handle a 2-year old, you can handle a 3-year old, but when you're dealing with men children,
Yeah,
you
man,
know,
child. Yeah.
who have
Mm-hmm.
never been trained, who have never been educated, who have never been trained in the ways of, boyhood, much less, young adulthood or going into manhood, who
Mm-hmm.
has aged physically, you know. Now this man child has gone from being a 2-year old that can be, subdued, yo, chill out, man. Let me come here. Let me, you can do that with a 2-year old, but when you're dealing with a man child who's now 18 years old, 19 years old, who has aged physically, but has not aged mentally, has not aged emotionally, and has not even been taught a spiritual
Mm-hmm.
point of view or spiritual understanding where they know that they were born for a particular spiritual divine purpose, you know, to be an instrument of love instead
Mm-hmm.
of an instrument of hate,
Right.
or an
Yeah.
instrument of, you know, I want what I want when I want it,
Mm-hmm.
and throwing tantrums has always worked for me. It worked for me when I was 2. It worked for me when I was 10. It worked for me when I was 15. It works for me.
Ooh.
That's my go-to. My
Mm.
go-to is tantrums. My go-to is causing ruckus and havoc. And,
Mm-hmm.
when it was 2, you could subdue it. Now that it's a 20-year-old who might be 220 pounds now, you know what I mean? It's not as you can't it's not as
Right. You
easy to
can't. Right.
subdue
Yes.
anymore.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Mm-hmm.
these savages, if you will, that used to be cute and cuddly, you know, they're not cute and cuddly anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but who created that savage? Who created that criminal? You see what I'm saying? Who created that dog? That dog was created purposefully. And who's to blame for that? I'm one of those people, especially as I grow older and I become more wise, you know, in my, being someone who studies, who learns, and also who has experienced a great deal in that wise state of looking at things. I don't care. And some of y'all might get mad at me when you hear me say this, but I don't care how hateful, how homicidal, how, you know, our children, our young adults have become. They are not to blame for their savagery. They are not to
That's deep.
blame for
Right.
their criminality. They are not to blame for their homicidal tendencies. They're not to blame for their ignorance.
It's deep.
You know, there are systems that were put in place from the very beginning of this country that were put in place to keep us on a slave dependent, ignorant, savage level. You know what I mean? And slavery has continued. You know, America is the most incarcerative country in this world. And slavery has only been legalized. I'm saying so much stuff. I mean, I hope that I don't want to overindulge you and put so much information out there that you may feel a little overwhelmed. But I
Well,
hope and
I'm
pray
actually
that.
out of eye with you right now. I'm just. It's more of
No, I
them.
know
You
you.
know.
I know not
You know what
not
I'm
just
saying?
you,
You
sis.
know.
not
you
just you.
know.
I'm talking about
So
like, to the list.
like, it's a lot,
Yeah,
because there's a lot to cover. He has literally a lot
it is.
to is a lot to speak on. Is so much to speak on. That's why it is best to do your
Yeah,
own research. But once you do your own research, it's important though, because then it takes you to work on yourself. And like, you already know the responsibility of where it come from, but then it's our responsibility to change it. You get what I'm saying?
what's
Like
that? What's
when you
that word?
spoke on that, it was so powerful talking about the vote. I'm like, man, I've been speaking on this for the longest, man. Oh man, had me hyped deep.
Absolutely,
So a lot of
absolutely.
things I say I'll touch on. A lot of times people don't want to touch on stuff because they don't want to. I don't. I don't know if it's fear or what the case is though. I will touch on some things unapologetically because guess what? It's supposed to be spoke on. But in a peaceful way. Some people, like you said, may get upset. That's all right though. But the truth is just the truth. Pride Heart Rainbow,
Absolutely.
Philly Pride Heart Rainbow Philly. I don't know what that means on Latanya. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it is
Well,
so much to cover, but and then it's like a lot of
let's.
black men. It ain't just the one, but the men. It's a lot of depression, going on with the black men because they there's a lot expected from the black man. You get what I'm saying? So it's
Well,
this.
let me say right quick, sis. All right. So we are not to blame.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, I don't care. I don't care. Once upon a time, we came into this world as cute, bubbly, innocent, precious young lives, young babies, innocent,
Yeah.
deserving of love,
Mm-hmm.
deserving of protection, deserving of education, or enlightenment, so that we can learn how to gain control over our lives
Mm-hmm.
and to overflow our unique purpose. We all were created to be purposeful. We
Yes.
all have gifts,
That's
you
right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and those gifts were intended to be used to make this a world of collaboration, cooperation, not to be places of darkness, places of impoverishment,
Mm-hmm.
places of dog eat dog, you know, but for this world to be heaven on earth,
Right.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we were created. They talk about the hereafter, hereafter what? Hereafter our enlightenment, hereafter us finding our best possible lives so that we can create heaven on earth. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be this dichotomy between the haves and the have nots.
Hmm.
You know, it's not supposed to be this dichotomy between, you know, rich white neighborhoods and impoverished black ghettos. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Dr. King said injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
The reason
Mm-hmm.
why there needs to be so
Mm-hmm.
many jails is because, you're creating places where you own mansions, where you have 59 cars, and you have all of this wealth, and at the same time, you're trying to demote, particularly us, to living in, horrible. ghettos, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Third world, communities, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And as long as we stay trapped in those ghettos, you know, normalizing our own self-defeat, self-hatred, you make it seem as if all is right with the world. All is not right with the world.
Yeah.
You know, the system that you created is to blame for all of the death, all of the poverty, all of the depression, you know, all of the anxiety. So you said the word, sis. You said responsibility. That's the key word. The
Mm-hmm.
blame is not ours, but the responsibility to
Mm-hmm.
choose love over self hatred, to choose healing over hurt,
Yeah.
perpetuating hurt and
Yeah.
passing on hurt.
It's
The
ours.
responsibility is ours.
Mm-hmm.
The blame is not ours. The responsibility, though, is ours. It's like if I'm standing here in front of this store and somebody comes and punches me in my face and I fall on the ground and I don't die and I'm laying on my back, after I shake it off, if I don't find the strength, the courage to get back up on my feet, to recover and to stand back up, and I just lay there, I didn't die, I didn't break no bones, I recovered my equilibrium, I'm looking around. If I don't get back up, if I don't make the effort to get back up,
Mm-hmm.
after a while, you got to begin to blame me for not trying to get back up.
Right.
You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our
Mm-hmm.
people have been knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
Our people have been oppressed. All of these things. But the main thing is we've forgotten, we've become disconnected from seeing ourselves as worthy of getting back up. We're like Lazarus, in the Bible. We're sitting
Mm-hmm.
around waiting for somebody to come and stir the waters, so we could be healed, not knowing that we have the power within ourselves to begin to practice healing.
Yeah, lots of good. Oh man, you said
You
a
know what I
mouthful.
mean?
We definitely got the power within ourselves to heal and start healing ourselves. It's real. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
pretty
we
much.
got to begin to start taking the responsibility again. Particularly, I say, as men, you know, we have to begin to show that force, to show that discipline, to show that strength,
Mm-hmm.
to show that aspiration, you know. It would be beneficial for our boys, you know, to see men and to experience manhood in their lives, to be shown how to be men again, within our communities, you know. Without the men, it again, it's just imbalanced. It's just incomplete, you know.
Yeah, it is.
So we need men again. We need men again, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah. I was looking at a documentary one night some years ago, and it was a documentary. It was in Africa. It was about that you had a situation going on in this particular part of the jungle where all of these female elephants were ending up dead, and they were trying to find out, who was massacring all of
Mm-hmm.
these female elephants.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the documentary, they found that there was a baby elephant, or not necessarily a baby elephant, but a young male elephant that was killing all of these female elephants.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to figure out what was going on. And what they ultimately discovered is that in that part of the jungle, and that,
Mhm.
there were so many people who were
Okay, let's
killing
see.
all of the older, they were
Mhm.
killing all of the older male
Hello,
elephants,
EJ. Welcome on in.
trying
Mhm.
this. They were killing all of
Mhm.
the older male elephants, striving to get the ivory from their tusks.
Mhm.
So they were killing all of the older male elephants.
Mhm.
And because they killed off all of the older male elephants, this young
Mhm.
male elephant didn't have examples of older male elephants to teach him how to become an older male elephant within his own right, that
Mhm.
knew how to interact with the female elephants.
Mhm.
And so in his trying to interact with the female elephants, he was literally didn't know how to interact with them. And all of these female elephants were ending up dead. What does that have to do, brother Mike, with our situation in the black community? I advocate that the connection between the two, it was an aha moment for me. It made me think of the black community and the way so many young men don't know how to be husbands anymore, don't know how to treat women with the proper respect and love that they deserve as their mates. You know what I mean? They don't know how to interact with the younger women anymore because they haven't been shown how. They haven't had the time to come up under a father, to come up who was a husband, who showed them how to interact in a loving way, in a
Mhm.
protective way, you know, with the women in the
Mhm.
household. So a lot of the women not having husbands, not having fathers that were there to help them to raise the boys and even the girls, instead of positive examples of love and being able to cherish the presence of men, they were left with voids. They were left with men that weren't there. They were left with hurt and depression and anxiety. You know, they were left with women who had nothing but bad things to say about men.
Mhm.
I hope that
Yeah.
you're making the connection, but that I'm trying
Mhm.
to,
Yeah.
point out, you know, yeah. So, that's what we need. We need that type of those examples again. We need that type of responsibility to return, to the black families and all of the various, neighborhoods that we live in.
Yeah, and that is starting with got this like what I put up there, rebuilding, 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 because it's gonna take learning the history, and then when you learn the history, then it start with healing the healing process, because you can't do it
Absolutely.
without the healing process, say boys,
Absolutely.
she said boys need good men in their lives to learn how to be a man, right? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. It's important. I mean,
No
like
doubt.
the era we in now. Ooh, speak on it. Like what? Oh, it's so much brokenness, so much going on, and it's like, is there hope?
No doubt. No doubt. But it has to, Marcus Garvey being one of our great black leaders from the past. That's someone, like I asked you to Google the Willie Lynch letter, like I
Yeah.
asked you to Google Um, pull it up on YouTube or whatever. Uh, the secret meeting that changed hip hop from an empowering hip hop that helped me to find myself as a young black man and helped me to begin to find uh, a father figure in Malcolm X, through his autobiography, and, then learning about the Black Panthers and learning about Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. And this is how, this is a lot of the information that I
Hello,
began to
Profiles. I'm
refashion
listening.
my own life through.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um, you know, we need that without he said, a person without knowledge is like a tree without its roots,
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? And this is what they're trying to do to us now. They're talking about critical race theory, and they don't want their children to feel bad about what their ancestors did to our ancestors. Meanwhile, so our ancestors can come up in ignorance. Our ancestors could come up with a lack of self-belief. Our ancestors, I mean, not our ancestors, our children. They're worried about their children feeling bad, but they're not worried about our children, you know, learning to hate themselves, learning to hate their peers, learning to hate their parents as their parents are not able to provide safety, for them as they come up in these communities, these hard-hearted, broken down, impoverished communities.
Mm-hmm.
They're not worried about our children. We have to begin to worry about our children. We have to stop allowing our children, our cute, cuddly babies, to be turned into monsters, to be turned into savages. You know, we got to stop that. We got to take responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
for that. And there's an old African proverb that says the child who is not raised in an environment of love will eventually burn down the village to feel its warmth. You know what I mean? Those children that we weren't able to protect, that we weren't able to raise in love, you know, and respect and appreciation, so that they would form natural bonds of love with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at some point in time, they're gonna turn on us. You know, if you're not there for your child, particularly I say this to the men, you know, your child, your cute, cuddly child, will not only most likely turn to the streets, turn to, habits and behaviors that are not good for them and are not good for us. But not only will that happen, but they will probably grow to dislike you. They will probably grow to maybe hate you. Do you know what I mean? And I feel sorry for some of the men that weren't allowed to be strong fathers, to be strong husbands, to be examples, to be able to support and provide for their children, so that their children, as they grew older, grew a natural love and respect and appreciation for them, minus them playing those roles in the community and those roles in their lives. I know some men whose children hate them, and it's a very sad situation,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah.
can't turn back the clock. If you miss those opportunities to be there in a loving, nurturing, providing and protecting way for your child, if you miss those opportunities, you're not going to be able to turn back the clock.
Right.
Like
Mm-hmm.
my son is gonna be 31, next month, you know, and I was there, throughout those years, all of those years, to where my son has a natural love and respect and appreciation for his dad, you know, as a grown man. My son wants to, of course he has his own life, but he wants to be around his dad, who he remembers held his hand and taught him, all of, gave him the benefit of his own wisdom and experience so that he didn't make the mistakes that his dad made. He was able to come up in a better way based upon the lessons that his dad taught him. And my son has a natural love and affinity for me because I invested that time in his life. Thank God. That's the way it's supposed to be. But that's
Mm-hmm.
not the way that this country allows black men to be in the lives of their children, to be in the lives of their family and in the presence of their community. A lot of times they set out this standard of, to be a man is to be a protector and a provider, but then they do everything that they can to make sure you can't be protector nor provider. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And they and they do all that they can to create an attitude amongst the women where they say things like, I don't need a man in my life. You know what
Right.
I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
they pass on that attitude to their children, to the boys and the
Yeah.
girls. We don't need a man in our life, or we don't
Yeah.
need a father.
Yeah.
I'm your father. A
Right.
woman can't be a father.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm-mm. Yeah. Because she
A
not no
woman
me.
can be what
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A woman
Mm-hmm.
can be what she was made to be, a
Right.
nurturer,
Right. That's
you
so
know.
true. Yeah.
But she can't be a father. She can be a mother. She can be a
Right.
nurturer, but she
Yeah.
can't. She can't be what she wasn't made to be.
Right.
It takes a man to do that,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so again, I say that these people who have purposefully made sure that black boys would not be able to, in their own good time, through the natural process of being raised by black men so that they can eventually become black men, they purposefully took the manhood or the role of manhood out of the
Mm-hmm.
equation so that our communities would be forever imbalanced, forever chaotic, you
Mm-hmm.
know, forever not enough. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot.
So anybody got any questions? You okay, so Latanya had already said boys need good men in their lives to learn how to be a man. It's basically what you were saying. And EJ
Hmm.
said at Latanya, this day and age slim to none because it was slowly pushed out in the black community caused by this dreadful agenda.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. EJ, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is the solution?
Right. My son still asks them. She said, sad, that's true, EJ. My son's friends still ask them, and my husband, their dad, is rare. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So what is the solution?
Yep.
I mean, this might sound a little self-serving. I hope that it's not. Um, but I just, in the last couple of days, I just put my second book up on Amazon. My second book is called A Black Awakening, and in that book, I've strived to not only put the lessons out of what was done to knock us down, but I've also tried to point towards solutions on what we need to be able to do as a
Yeah,
community.
I gotta learn how to share my
To,
screen, but this is the new one, Black. I love the way how he have it. It's nice.
uh,
It's deep. Hello. Yeah, I'm live, me and brother Mike. We're up here live on YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we okay. So I'll talk to you later. We live, so if you want to join, you can come on and join. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye bye.
hmm.
Yeah, that's what I had family. Her services was today. She passed up there in New York. So, and that was my
Wow.
friend let me know about the services. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
we we got to educate ourselves. And my book is like my love letter to Black America. You know, um, it's jam packed. It talks about
Thank you.
hip hop. It talks about hip hop and how powerful hip hop is, and how even though hip hop had a 50th anniversary, hip hop has been turned into one of the greatest plagues that has ever been unleashed upon the Black community. Yeah, hip hop is a multi-billion-dollar business for them,
Mm-hmm.
but for us, a lot of times it's giving us nothing but self-hatred. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
can learn how to, you know, you can become a killer. You know, how many people have we killed on wax? Do you know what I mean? How many beefs have we engaged in? You know, pitting this hood against that hood. You
He
know,
said, God, he
again,
said,
I say,
EJ said, he said, brother Mike X got to is too oppressed. That's what you were
say that
speaking
again.
about. You were saying you said they got to because it's too oppressed. Or what brother Mike was speaking about.
I can't see the chat that you're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I? Let
Mm-hmm.
me see something.
Let me see if I can put it on the screen. Do you see it on the screen when it's
Oh,
on the
okay,
screen?
I can. I can. No, I had to press comments.
Okay. So
I
I
can.
have it on the screen.
Does it go? I mean, I don't know. Since I'm a little old school in how I look
Right.
at
So
things,
okay, he's
it's a little
explaining.
confusing.
He said to me, hip hop saved my life. It's that assets behind these rappers that's been pushed onto us to be forced forced to us. Well, I mean, brother Mike, you
When he
said hip
said,
hop saved your life too.
yeah, because so that makes me a little interested in what kind of hip hop saved uh this person's life,
He said
because the hip
to
hop.
me, yeah. Oh, he said to me, hip hop saved my life. It's the execs behind these rappers that's being pushed onto us to be forced to us. Well, I guess that was all the extra that made it bad, though. If that makes sense, you know.
Well, I agree that the execs have created a particular style of hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
with the help of those who wanted to escape, you know, the powerlessness of being a crab in the barrel, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when hip hop was originally created, in the 70s and 80s,
Mm-hmm.
particularly by the late 80s, hip hop well, first, but before I get there, it wasn't accepted. There wasn't no American Music Awards. There wasn't no Grammys. There wasn't no MTV.
Nope.
There wasn't no mainstream lane for hip hop and hip hop artists. They treated it, they called it a bastard form of music. They said that it would never last, you know. But hip hop not only flourished without their support, it became an entity so powerful that it began to change the communities that it grew up out of, you know. And again, Rakim Allah, a 5%er. KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. Public Enemy, the Brand Nubians, these people were putting black consciousness in hip hop. They made it so, they influenced us to begin to, instead of being the N word and the B word, they influenced us to become brothers from another mother. They influenced us to become sisters from another mister. They had such a positive, therapeutic, and potentially politically and economically powerful impact on the communities through hip hop that they knew that they could not ignore hip hop anymore. And this is when the execs, like the person said, stepped in with their legally binding contracts, and they began to offer hundreds of thousands of dollars to the hip hop artists of that time to not only contract them, you owe us 3 albums now, but not only do you owe us 3 albums, but we're going to tell you what kind of music you can make now. We're not going to give you all this money to allow you to continue to talk that black empowerment stuff. This is when groups like NWA came out. Pardon it, part of my language. I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but niggas with attitudes. This is when gangster rap started in the late 80s, early 90s to counteract the love, the black love, the unity. And not only the unity, but my generation, hip hop inspired us to want to know about a black history that we had never known about. Up until that time, we were kept ignorant about our history, and all of the great and powerful leaders, men and women, that had existed in our history, in our recent history at that. The only ones we were taught about in the schools was Martin Luther King, and we really wasn't even taught about Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was more revolutionary than the way they portrayed him. I have a dream and this, that, and the third. They never taught us about a Martin Luther King that said things like a country that has proven itself to be more anti-Negro than anti-rat needs to be dismissed. A country that has proven itself to be more anti-Negro, anti-black person than anti-rat needs to be dismissed. I bet you most of whoever is on the line never heard of a Martin Luther King that said things like that.
It's true, because that's what it is about. I have a dream. Yeah, it's real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so hip hop, the hip hop that saved my life was teaching us about people like introducing us, not even just teaching us, introducing us to people that we had never heard of, like Malcolm X, like Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam, like Huey P. Newton and the Black Panther Party. People who were saying things like black is beautiful, black power, community control. It had us wanting to take control over our lives and control over our existence in these communities. That's when they had the secret meeting that changed hip hop. And they enlisted a lot of the top music executives, the A&R people, and the record producers. And they told them that they wanted to begin a to create private prisons throughout America. And they wanted them to use the music and create music that would influence us to have a more gangster criminal outlook, so that they can begin to lock up the children who would listen to that music. They know how powerful and influential music is. And that the same way that the music had influenced us to want to love ourselves and love each other and practice uh, cooperation and collaboration, being brothers from another mother, being sisters from another mister. The same way it was influencing us to take positive control over our communities, they knew that gangster rap would lead our children in the other direction. And so you can see how systematically we became more and more incarcerative as a community. They used their news programs to show us as savages, as criminals. They helped to divide and break down the community. They made our elders afraid of the youth, to where our elders would be the first ones who would call the police. So that they can justify coming into our communities and shooting down our babies.
Mhm.
And they would give the excuse that, your own people called us in to deal with you. But they didn't take any of the responsibility of helping to create that type of mindset of self-hate. Like I said earlier, who taught us to hate ourselves
Right.
and hate on each other? Who taught
Mhm.
us to hate each other and hate on each other?
Right.
This was done purposefully,
And
you
it's too,
know.
it can't, and
So
this is something that nobody can't change because it's the truth. Hating on one another, that is a fact. It's a fact. Hate in and real hard. It's sad.
uh,
So
so I
EJ
hope that
saying he's saying no. So he's saying he said, of course, it won't. It it wasn't accepted because it was its own genre and became an own standout because of the consciousness in the 80s. It was about its culture and the love, and then it became corporate.
absolutely. So what's the solution? The solution now is easier now. I know, the record business is not as glamorous as it used to be.
Okay,
And
you
that's
have to point
because,
out what you have to point out to where it happened. It's happening by who they're being raised by to be hate, to have hatred.
well, this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
For empowerment to spread, each person is going to have to put that work in, you know, in their own lives. At this point, I've been on this journey for 30, I'd say about 33 years coming up in August. My awakening happened, it started for me in the summer of 1991, you know, is when I began this journey of study, this journey of growth, this journey of healing. this
Yeah.
journey of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when I was young, I was smart.
He's
So
just
I
speaking
tried to
about.
change
He's
the
speaking
world.
about. Brother Mike. Excuse me. He's speaking about history. EJ. You know what I'm saying? He's saying, because he's saying that because everything is being streaming, it ain't even about record sales no more because it's stream. Everybody's streaming. You know.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
let me finish my this thought, and
Yeah.
then I'll, you know,
Mm-hmm.
connect it to what
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to what I said about the
Mm-hmm.
music business being
Right. Mm-hmm.
um more accessible now than it was then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so number one, in order for this empowerment to spread, and it not just to be, brother Mike came amongst you tonight, talking all of this stuff, um,
Mm-hmm.
sounding smart or whatever, and it's well and good for brother Mike, but how do we spread this empowerment to the communities,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we all don't live in the same place? I'm talking to you tonight from New York. You know what I mean? Sister Missy's is from down south. You know,
I live
um,
down south.
you know, other people may be from out west or whatever, wherever. And all of these places need
Right.
empowered people to
True.
stand up in those places so that empowerment doesn't get marginalized in New York or doesn't get marginalized in down south, and it doesn't spread. In order for it to spread, individuals have to take it upon themselves to be responsible. That's that word again,
Yeah.
responsibility.
Possibility. Yeah.
And you have to commit yourself to a journey of self-empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Of seeking knowledge, of taking the time to read and study and apply these lessons, to become knowledgeable about the people who fought before you to give you the opportunity to fight today. And
Right.
the people tomorrow are they're banking on, or us doing what we need to do
Mm-hmm.
to live lives of being positive examples so that they can draw up on the strength and the lessons that we provide. You know, I'm speaking to you from my own truth that took me 30 years to develop. I've read thousands of books. I've committed myself to being an activist, to try to organize the people in the projects where I grew up. I ran for the community school board. I used to be involved in the community boards where politics and policies were being discussed. I stood up to corrupt politicians and could
Right.
have lost my life. Like I have, you know, there's a threshold of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and experience that I'm speaking from and
Mm-hmm.
that I stand upon, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that gives me the power to speak about all of these things that I spoke about tonight. I
Yes.
hope that I'm encouraging whoever's listening to start their own journey
Mm-hmm.
of standing up in their own lives and committing themselves to understanding, well, if hurt people, I don't want to be hurt anymore.
Right.
And I don't want to nurture hurt. I don't want to trauma bond. I don't
Right.
want to be one of those people misery loves company.
Right.
I don't want to be a black hole of hurt. You know what I mean? And,
Mm-hmm.
and live my life in a way where I pass on hurt,
Right.
where I pass on anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that I'm encouraging you to say that I want to be, if hurt people, I want to gain the ability as I heal.
Help to
I
heal
want to gain the ability to heal.
others. Yes.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And so the conversations that I have are different than the ones I used to have. As I practice love, I'm now able to overflow love.
Mm-hmm.
As I practice uh emotional well-being. I used to be a hothead. I used to be someone easily triggered, and I was always ready to pop on
Right.
someone who got up under my skin.
Um,
Now I practice patience.
yes.
You know what I mean? I've mastered my triggers. You
Yes.
know, I've mastered the way that I live my life. I want to use my life before I die to help to influence and spark the greatest good that I can with this life that I have. Not just by the power of my voice, but as I'm an author. I have 2 books on Amazon. If God is willing and will spare my life, by next month I'll have 3.
Mm-hmm.
I have another book that I'm working on that I'm getting ready to publish. You know, and no matter what, those books are so powerful because they go more in depth with a lot of the stuff that I was talking about tonight. That no matter what happens to me, my legacy
Right.
will outlast me.
Mm-hmm.
All of the many videos that I have on my YouTube channel, all of the many videos and stuff that I've put on Instagram and Facebook, you know what I mean? Not
Yes.
only do people, that know me personally, they know me as a positive dude, but I'm not going to live forever physically. But the essence of who Brother Mike X was and what his mission and his purpose was will live through those videos, will live through those books. You know what I mean? Some of the greatest personages that have helped me to be who I am. I never met them before.
Yeah.
Malcolm X died 4 years before I was even born. But when I opened myself up to his life and his legacy, he became the spiritual father figure that I never had, in my own life. I never had a father to teach me how to be a father. But thank God I was able, through being able to listen to his speeches and read the books, and I was able to use him as a model for the type of man I wanted to become. And I'm not trying to compare myself to Malcolm, don't get me wrong. But he did give me a role model to help me learn how to make more sense out of my own life. I hope that I'm being clear,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I have committed myself throughout my whole adult life since my early 20s, now in my mid 50s, to being a strong, passionate, educated, enlightened source of love and light and truth. So the way this spreads, I hope that I'm encouraging you, whoever may be listening now, or whoever may find this video in the future after we stop recording. you know I hope that I'm speaking to something deep within you that makes you say, I don't want to waste my life. I don't want to add hurt and pain and depression and anxiety. I don't want to cooperate with spreading that in the community anymore. I want to commit myself to a greater self mastery of overcoming my fear and overcoming, and gaining, more courage to stand up in my community and speak out for the fact that we need to learn how to love ourselves again.
Mm-hmm.
We need to begin to collaborate with one another again. So that's how this thing is going to spread
Mm-hmm.
into the various communities where the light needs to begin to shine to overcome the darkness that's presently there.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah. 100%. I'm right here. So he just said, he said he's agreeing with you. He said, I'm applauding to Mike X. He said, true, that's correct. and to the empowerment. It gets spread to a few before it can be reached to a big crowd. Because on every coast, it's so gentrified. It could be challenging, but it can be enough to reach. Yeah. Yeah. That's well said.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
That
sharing that,
was well
EJ.
said.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that,
Absolutely.
EJ. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta gain, you gotta, man, listen, man. Like I said, there's an
Mm-hmm.
old saying, and I love, as you get to know me, there's a lot of old sayings that I have in my toolkit that
Yeah.
help me to make more sense out of my own journey.
Yeah.
And, the one that I'll share is when I was young, I was smart. So I tried to change the world. Now that I'm old or older, I'm much more wise. So I focus on changing myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When I was younger, I was smart. So I tried to change the world. I had the mindset of,
Mm-hmm.
yo, you know, this is my community and I'm not going to let this go down. And I took some stances when I was younger, man, that, I think God had his hand on me even then, man,
Mm-hmm.
because, I probably wouldn't be here.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm older, mastering yourself, focusing on practicing health and well-being,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so that you can extend your life physically. One of the biggest killers in the black community is not guns. It's not of knives. One of the biggest killers in the black community is the deficient chemical based disgusting food that they sell us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the biggest killers in the black community is heart disease. The biggest killers in the black community is diabetes. The biggest killers in the black community is high blood pressure and kidney dysfunction. And all of these things are injuries that we invite into our own lives, by the way that we eat.
Yeah.
You know, instead of learning how to eat to live, we live to eat. A lot of us don't have any particular positive purpose in our own lives. So we use food in an addictive way. We comfort eat is what they call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we invite, obesity
Mm-hmm.
into our own lives. We clog up the arteries,
Mm-hmm.
in our own body,
Mm-hmm.
to where we open ourselves up, like I said, to heart disease and heart attack. And what we need to do is we need to begin to love ourselves in a way where we eat better food.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do we eat better food, um, we also exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and we walk and we jog and we get in the gym you know, but if you have no purpose, it's easy to adopt the life's a itch and then you die mindset.
Right.
You know, if you don't have nothing to live for, or if you perceive, I don't, that you have nothing to live for, then you have that attitude. Life's an itch and then you die. Have fun now. You know, what am I trying to save my life for? I don't have any purpose. This is why it's so important to develop a positive purpose
Mm-hmm.
in your own life. So now I have something to live for. I have a reason to practice a healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I read, I study. I'm a lifelong learner. You know, I'm not addicted to binge watching, you know, whatever the latest ratchet, TV show is on. You know, I don't have no time to clutter my mind with those with that ghetto ratchet appeal. You know, I want to learn as much as I can so I can make better decisions, not only for myself, but so that I can teach the younger generations coming up behind me how to use these lives in the most effective way. You see what I'm saying? I know how to. I used to be at hothead, and I allowed my triggers to bully me into situations where I could have died or killed. You know what I mean? Not just died, but I could have killed someone over a look, over they cut me off traffic, over something so small and minute
Right. Yeah.
that you could have
Yeah.
walked away from.
No triggers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got to master your triggers. Other
Right.
people are not
Can't do it.
responsible
Right. Mm-hmm.
for getting how you say it. Other people shouldn't be held responsible for you living an out of control life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to
No,
master
you
your
got to
own
learn how to
triggers.
master your life.
I hear that. You
Master
got to
your life.
master your
Focus
triggers.
your life. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, sis, I mean, you know how we do, I mean, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be quiet, and I really am. I feel, I know that there's a God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna tell you, what to call him or how to practice a relationship with him. Some of my best friends are Christian. Some of
Mm-hmm.
my best friends are Muslim. Some of my best friends are 5%ers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my best friends don't necessarily practice a religion or a spiritual way of living, but they strive to practice, you know, just a do unto others what I would have them do unto me.
Mm-hmm.
They strive to put out good karma, if you will. They
Right.
know that karma can be bad. Karma could be bad, but it can also be good. If I practice putting out love, I know love is going to return to me sooner or later. If I
Mm-hmm.
practice putting out respect, respect is going to return to me sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciation is going to come back my way, you know. But I know, and I believe that we were put here for a reason to be part, I don't really want to influence anyone one way or another. I just want to influence you or encourage you, man, to commit yourself to this journey, you know, of living as consciously as you can. You know, I've studied many religions, I've studied many spiritual pathways. You know, I got 3 books in my pocket right now that I'm trying to finish because I got about 100 more that I want to get to. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And not just for my own satisfaction of my own
Mm-hmm.
curiosity. I've always been someone who was curious,
Mm-hmm.
and wanted to know as much as I can, but so that the more I know, the more I can share, you
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
the more I can positively influence others to find their own selves as I continue to find myself. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So don't worry so much about the chaos and the confusion. Commit yourself to being someone who will perfect your own light of love and truth, and stand in your truth and keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
As smart as you are now, you can become even more wise tomorrow.
Oh yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. That's well said. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be true to what I just said, sis. I got a big mouth and I got a lot to say, but at the same time, I'm also know and I'm willing to listen to other people and give them a chance to take the floor as well. So I'm gonna be quiet right now.
Yeah, so it's fine. I believe EJ, he pretty much, you know, agreed with you. He was on point with you, and I don't even know if EJ still in the chat or not. He might have left, you know, and
Oh
that was a
man.
good thing because I will say this: EJ is a quiet, you know, he's very quiet. You know, he don't really be speaking. So that was a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you come on and you know, he was able to connect with you. So that's a good thing, you know. So I'm grateful for that. So
No
I don't
doubt.
think he's, you know,
EJ,
yeah, EJ. Mm-hmm.
we probably got a lot in
Yeah,
common because
he
this
definitely yeah, he yeah,
I
he
don't
been
like I don't like I
mm-hmm.
don't like small talk.
Yeah.
So sometimes what do they say? I can't get that particular saying. But sometimes, people who are deep, they don't speak so much. They don't
Yeah.
have they don't have
gossip.
Yeah.
They don't chit chat,
Yeah.
But if you
He's
give them the right topic,
it's introvert.
they'll begin to speak in a way like, whoa,
He
I didn't know
intro
you was that deep,
he
you
introvert.
know?
He don't be saying he was pretty much talking on. I'm like, okay, EJ, that was good. Okay, that's the most I ever seen him spoke. That was
Yeah,
a
that's
good.
what's up.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah. So I don't usually come on this late like this though. You know. Um.
Yeah, yeah. We
So
have been on almost 2 hours.
yeah, it's almost 11
Yeah.
o'clock. So guys, I would definitely it's a lot to speak on. So I'll definitely get up with Brother Mike and you know we could come back on, you know, on his time and you know and we're speak on something because it's definitely a lot that he have going on. So guys, his
Can
link
you put the link? Can
his
you
link
put the link, sister, of my book in this chat?
so I ain't that good yet. I gotta learn how to do it.
I mean, if you can't, or maybe,
Because that's what
my
I was
book is called The Black Awakening on Amazon. And, my name is Michael X. Hinton. Let me see if I can put that in the chat.
yeah, you make it put it in the
Comment.
chat. And
Oh,
type bomb.
I don't know how this works, sis. Let me try
Just type
before I do
VOM.
something.
Type VOM. That'll drop your link. Just regular VOM.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just
Cool.
type. So she heard me. So the time, I don't know how to share the screen. I got to learn it now where I can pull the thing up. Let me see. But I don't think it's on my phone. Let me see. Let me see if it's on. See if I got any things. Present share screen. No, so I don't have no picture or nothing up here, so I have to cancel it.
I'll just put the title in the chat. Is it the chat or the comments? I don't want one of them.
You put it in the private chat. You go ahead, put it in the
I put it in the
comments.
comments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Put it in the
If you look
comments.
that up on Amazon, it'll pop up.
Yeah, put it in the comment and also type VOM first in the comment.
VOM with a hashtag.
No, just VOM in the comment. Just type that first. So when you do that, it'll automatically drop your link.
V period O period M period.
Just straight VOM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
see it?
Did you put it in the comment? Just put it in the comment. Just put it
All right.
in the comment. Like the regular comment. Like the there, like the chat comment, put it in that. The regular comment. You see it? Okay. Miss Keys is doing it. You see somebody type V.O.M in? Put it in that comment. That's the private chat you able to get to. He put it in the private chat. All right, you putting it in the wrong one. That's the private chat. It's not another one you can see where it say regular comments.
It made me do all of this crazy stuff, but I think I'm in now. Yeah, I'm in, sis. Bye.
Okay. So all you gotta do is put in this regular V.O.M straight in the regular comment where they was talking in, okay, there you go. Now that's his book, guys, right there. Pull it up on Amazon, A Black Awakening. Now your next comment, put in type in V.O.M. That'll drop your link to your page. There you go. There you go. Boom. So guys, that is there. So y'all connect with him, okay, and he'll be back. He got a lot of great information on his channel. Speaking about truth, basically. So and guys, let's get him up. He pushing. So he pushing his way up to 1,000 subs. So let's get him up there. He's at 650. Let's get him up to that 7. We're gonna push him up to that 1,000K before he could get monetized. But I told him he got to stay consistent doing his videos and stuff. He gotta get those out. Look, he got locked out. He dropped down. he dropped down. But guys, it's late. Thank you guys, everyone that tuned in. Please remember to hit that like button, guys, and also connect with brother Mike. Connect with him. He is definitely a good, a great, person, man, king, and he definitely puts in the work. And actually, yes, I hope y'all receive something out of what he did, what he was speaking on, because there's so much to cover. It's a lot to cover. You know what I'm saying? So he's very encouraging, inspired, empowered. He's very serious about what he's doing. Serious. So again, guys, he did drop one book I shared before. The vision of personal freedom. Now he done dropped another book. And he spoke on this is another one. He just dropped this one, A Black Awakening. This is how it look. Okay. This is dope right here. So he's hoping, he's trying to drop another one by next month, so he's definitely on it. Okay, guys, so thank you again, guys. It's late. Sorry about that though, but we'll be back, okay, and speaking on some more stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Miss Keys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a wonderful good night. And remember, peace, love, and elevation, guys. Blessing. Mwah, mwah, mwah.